Hello everyone, it's Fromond here, and we're doing a Let's Play of Spyro the Dragon. Before I get into this, yes, it's been well, I did some stuff maybe 3 years ago, but otherwise I think it's been half a decade since I've done an actual Let's Play on this YouTube channel, which I don't think, I somehow have 500 subscribers, I don't even know who they are. In fact, if you are subscribed to this channel, and you are watching this video, leave a comment, ask me a question. Just so I know you're watching. You can ask me any question, it can be as personal as you want, and I'll answer it in the next video. But I want to know who's watching this, because I don't even know who my audience is. Especially when I haven't done a Let's Play in half a decade, and especially since I started this channel a decade ago. Anyway, let's just launch into this, and we'll rescue our first dragon, Nestor, who you can't skip, by the way.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world. Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Newark? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
So, if you didn't watch the cutscene that started the game, not that I actually recorded the cutscene, if there is a cutscene at the beginning of this, it's specifically because I've pulled it from YouTube. Because I didn't feel like recording the cutscene, I just kind of wanted to get straight into this. Yeah, so the dragons are a bit racist. They said some nasty things on TV, and Nasty Nork decided direct action is the best way to deal with this. And so he's frozen all the dragons. But he's a bit stupid, because his spell only works on big dragons. He never thought that maybe dragons can be a bit smaller. So Spyro just avoids it, and yeah, that's the story. He's gonna free all the dragons and eventually beat Nasty Nork. I'm debating whether I'm gonna skip some of these dragons, by the way. And this is gonna be a very informal Let's Play.
Nasty Newark? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro! You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
Originally I was gonna Let's Play Rayman 3, but that game doesn't have controller support, and I wasn't gonna play it, I wasn't gonna play it unless I had controller support. I wasn't gonna play it on a mouse and keyboard, because it's not really made for that. I'm just gonna skip this guy, he doesn't say anything interesting. This is how unofficial we're going to be making this, by the way, so to all the Spyro purists out there who want to hear what the dragons have to say, there is this good YouTube series called, from a YouTube user named Red Devil Dazzy 2007, and he's collated all the Spyro dragons in Spyro 1 and what they said. And it's called What Dragons Are Meant to Say. Just search it up, Red Devil Dazzy 2007, What Dragons Are Meant to Say. And that has everything you need to know about what these dragons say. But otherwise, if I feel like skipping them, which I probably will, because I kind of just want to talk over this, ramble about stuff. I don't want to keep having to pause every 5 seconds because some dragon wants to give me a tutorial. So, oh fuck. See, this is the kind of Let's Play we're doing. One where I fall down quite a few times. On one of the most easiest jumps in the game. But yeah, no, Spyro was a touchstone game of my childhood. And originally I was going to Let's Play it literally a decade ago, but I never did, because I thought it would be best to wait until I was a better Let's Player before I Let's Played my favourite game. I don't know if I ever reached that title, because I haven't Let's Played in half a decade. And the Let's Plays I did have weren't very good. So, you know, what is there to say about my Let's Plays? They're not very good, but if you're watching this fight, I appreciate it. And part of the journey that we're going to go on as I play this game is I'm going to recount my childhood stories as I play. And the one thing I'm going to start off with is, and because I think when I started playing, I first got this game when I was 5 years old, and my dad had bought me a PlayStation 1 as a surprise, and I went over to his house because my parents were divorced. What a dark start to this story. when you kind of realize the extent that that PlayStation 1 was definitely a divorce gift. You know, the kind of gift that your dad gives you to be like, hey, I'm better than your mom. It was one of those kinds of gifts, so that's my introduction to Spyro. When my dad bought me a PlayStation 1, and it worked. It sucked me right in. It was the first gaming console I'd ever really gotten. And, like... It was, like, I think up to that point, I'd played, like, Lemmings and all that kind of stuff on, like, my desktop Windows 98 PC, and I'd played, like, a few of those, like, really basic, like, freeware games that anyone could get. You know, but, like, I think I played a South Park quiz game. That was the first console game I ever played. A South Park quiz game at one of my friends' houses. And I thought it was... pretty interesting. Before I get into the story, one thing, so I got Spyro, and I don't know, at some point, I think my brother was the first to play the PlayStation, and he played a bit of, so I played Crash Bandicoot for a bit, and then my brother played Spyro, because those were the two games we got, Crash Bandicoot 2 and Spyro 1. And I think at some point, my brother had played Spyro 1, but not for very long, so I always thought that this area, so you start the game here, but I think my brother had walked over somewhere else, and handed the controller to me, and for some reason I thought you start the game somewhere else. I don't know why. Anyway, back to the story, divorce gifts and whatnot. I already kind of explained the story that, yeah, we had Crash Bandicoot 2, and Spyro 1, and I think a few other games, but I've forgotten what games they were. So, you know. So I had never played a console game before, played some games like Lemmings. I think I might have played Croc 2. That I think it was the most advanced game I'd played up until that point. A lot of memories of Croc 2. That game gave me nightmares, by the way. Like, if anyone wants a big, thick scare, I would recommend searching Croc 2 intro. Because that shit is worse than any horror movie I've ever been induced to. Like, Hereditary, that's nothing, you know. Croc 2, ugh. Tough shit. But this was like Crash Bandicoot 2 was the first game I ever played, and the reason I played Crash Bandicoot 2 first, and it's just such a generic boy-child thing to do, is I looked at it and I saw like a purple dragon, or Crash, who looked really cool, like he had a mohawk, which was the marketing thing they did at the time. They were looking for a competitor for Sonic the Hedgehog, who was a competitor to Mario, so at the point it was just like, who had the spikiest hair? Even Spyro, to some degree, he has a bit of a mohawk going on there. I think the whole gist was who could have the most 90s haircut, and it just worked. Like it really sucked in the kids, and so I played Crash Bandicoot 2 first, and then like my brother played Spyro 1 first. Okay, so fun story. I remember getting stuck here. I think I managed to squeeze my way through here as a kid. Then I got stuck here because I squeezed past these guys. I didn't know how to beat them, so I had to ask my dad, how do I beat these guys? So he looked through the entire game manual, and he's like, you have to charge at them, which didn't work because I didn't know what charging meant. I'm like 5 years old. What the fuck is a charge? You know, so I didn't know what a charge was. So I remember being like really confused. Like how do I kill this thing? How do I beat him? So I never did. Oh, I did eventually. I think I eventually discovered, because the thing is, you know, if you flame him, it doesn't kill him. You have to flame him from behind, but charging doesn't work at all. So I think I was just stuck for a long time because I didn't know how to kill this guy. And eventually I figured out, like, you have to flame behind, or maybe I just got out of it eventually. I don't remember. But you know, this is fun. These kinds of stories were gonna be like, this isn't about the gameplay. If you want like some purest fun, once again, there's this guy. If you want like a full playthrough of this game, like without any cuts or anything like that, there's this guy called Spyro Jam 86, and let me tell you, Spyro Jam 86 has the freshest Let's Play you could ever watch of Spyro the Dragon on there. Like, you know, unfiltered, beautiful commentary, but not so much that it interrupts the game. And Red Devil Dazzle has a good one too, but Spyro Jam takes the cake in terms of Spyro Let's Plays. Me, you're just here because you love me and whatever commentary I have to offer. look, I'm playing the game so shit. Like, I could get through this level in like 1 minute, and I'm just like kind of taking my time because I kind of just want to talk. Interesting thing. See these things? You never see anything like this in the game, and flaming them does nothing. And they're only here to show off the impressive lighting engine that this game has. An impressive lighting engine that when you turn on the light, it has dynamic lighting and it lights up the place. It's true. It works, because this is a PlayStation 1 game, and I think this is like one of the first like real 3D PlayStation 1 games. But it's kind of amusing to think that like, you know, this was a technological marvel for its time, but like, you know, there were other games coming out at the time that had just about the same amount of fidelity to some degree elsewhere. It's just like, I think Half-Life 1 came out the same year as this, and Half-Life 1 is one of like the most timeless games I've played. So, you know, we got him, guys. We got him. But no, Spyro is just my childhood. You know, this entire game is riddled with nostalgia for me. Like, actually, want to hear something really depressing? So I played this game when I was 5, which would have been about 2002. This game came out in 1996 when I was born, which is kind of actually more messed up, actually. But like from when this game is nostalgic, and so I had to, and I was like, what, like 11, 10 or 11. I bought the games off eBay for the first time in ages, and I had a bit of a revival for these games, a nostalgic revival to revisit my childhood. It was like, I was 11, so this was the first time as well I discovered the feeling of nostalgia, because at this point I didn't even know what it was, because I remember like as well, I like rewatched the Toy Story movies like almost religiously when I was like 11, specifically because it was the first time I'd ever felt the emotion of nostalgia before. So I was having a nostalgia revival this would have been 2008. It's now 2020. So from the point of the nostalgia revival when I was 11 years old in 2008, when I first played this game in 2002, and it's now 2020, this is kind of fucked up to think that it's been a longer time since I first played Spyro. It's been a longer time since my nostalgia revival than it has been when I first played Spyro 1 to... You get what I'm saying, I don't know how to word it properly, but like in scale, we're talking like... my nostalgia revival is now more nostalgic than first playing these games. But, you know, the nostalgia revival led me to discovering the wonderful Red Devil Dazzy 2007, who I've mentioned a few times now, and anyone who's watching, I would recommend searching right now. I don't care if you pause my Let's Play, search up Red Devil Dazzy 2007, what dragons are meant to say, because it is one of the most iconic series I've ever watched. It led me to, like, so I discovered, like, Dazzy and Spyro Jam and all that kind of stuff, and through that I discovered, some of my closest friends that I've ever met. Through, like, so, like, I'm sure most of the people, like, I'm kind of doing this Let's Play assuming that friends that I know in real life are watching this, like, because those are the people I'm going to be sending this to, but, you know, I think my key audience are going to be people from the ISGP Discord server, which is like a Spyro speedrunning thing, and for the uninitiated, a Spyro speedrun is playing Spyro a lot faster than I am right now. Or faster than I could ever play Spyro. So just, but we kind of do it in a way where instead of just speedrunning the whole game as a one, we speedrun it together almost as a race. So, you know, I try, like, we like, okay, beat Stone Hill, which is level we're in, and then try and beat it, while someone else is also doing the exact same thing, and you just kind of have to beat it before they do. I've only won, like, one of these things in the 10 years I've been doing that, but, like, through, like, my nostalgia revival, I remember, I discovered Dazzy. Actually, before I go into that, I want to do the one thing I've been wanting to do for the entire decade I've wanted to Let's Play this game for. So, this is another childhood story, so I'm gonna kill these rams. These guys. No, I thought they were wizards, because, like, come on, they've got, like, a beard and a pointy hat, and a fucking staff. What else are they supposed to be? Shepherds? No, these are wizards. You cannot tell me otherwise. I know they're meant to be shepherds, but no, they're fucking wizards. And my twin brother used to, like, I remember, like, because I'd always play this game after school, and I remember my brother thought they made this noise, like, he used to make weird noises like this, and it's just like, so I remember, like, he dragged me and my mum to come up to this wizard, and he started making the sound effect, like, as if it was coming from the wizard. So that's kind of like a nostalgic memory of playing Spyro. And I just wanted to share that story, so it's forever lodged in time on this Let's Play for like however long YouTube exists for and holds my video for. Anyway, back to the story of the Gemini Dazzy, one of the most iconic men to have ever graced this planet. I discovered like I remember, I think so in Spyro at the end of every Spyro game there is a bonus level, and like it's like the level you unlock when you 100% the game. And you 100% the game and you get like this fun bonus level where you're like getting hundreds of thousands of gems, or you do something fun, like some fun mini games in Spyro 2, and it's great fun. But like in Spyro 3, I was really shit at the game because that game is, no offense to Spyro lovers, I think Spyro 3 is not the best game. You can tell they're kind of lagging at this point and don't know what to do with the game. But that's a story for another day. There's a super bonus world in this, and I couldn't be bothered 100%ing the game because I think one of the things I don't like about Spyro 3 is the game is littered with gems and mini games that are kind of hard and a bit like thrown in there. There's so many gems in the game. There's a method to the madness of gems originally. Sorry, lads. Only kept your life in nostalgia. And so, long story short, I could not be asked in 2008 to beat Spyro 3. There was like a couple of mini games in there that are really bullshit, and I did not want to beat them, and a couple of gems in there which I could not be bothered to find because they're too hard to get. So I never beat Spyro 3. But I wanted to know what was in the Super Bonus World. And you ever remember this is 2008? Like, only like 5 people in 2008 YouTube had capture cards. Only 5 people. Nobody had capture cards back then. So if you found one person who had a capture card and could record an entire video game, you found a rare gem. You know, people like Red Devil Dazzy exist specifically because they were one of the few people on Earth to have capture cards on YouTube in 2008. So I found Red Devil Dazzy because he had a capture card. So like it was like I think at this point like this like I found YouTube in 2006 and had used it for like a couple of things. Up until that point I didn't really know what YouTube was for. Like I think the pinnacle comedy on YouTube back in 2008 and 2007 for me was the Kingdom Hearts Stupid Files, which is like a collection of Kingdom Hearts cutscenes which are edited to have stuff like other voices in them and all that kind of stuff, and it was the pinnacle of comedy to me. I think so. I was kind of getting used to this idea that hey, if there's anything you want to watch on YouTube, you just have to search it and it will be there. So it kind of occurred to me for the first time in my entire life at this point, all I have to do to get into the Super Bonus World is search up on YouTube what is inside the Super Bonus World. I've been waiting like what, like
Watch the
5,
dragonfly,
6, 7,
His color indicates
8,
his power.
9,
When he eats butter,
bad math. 6 or 7 years
like me.
to find out what was in the Super Bonus World at this point. So I'd searched up Super Bonus World on YouTube, and I came across a couple of YouTube videos. Some of them were like people pointing their YouTube, like their video cameras at like the screen. They're like people pointing their video cameras at the screen, and then I kept searching. I found one, and I thought it was pretty cool. It was like some guy. He sounded like some kid at my school, David. Some kid at my school named David. And I thought it was pretty cool that I could just find David on YouTube searching, playing Super Bonus World on his video camera. I thought that was really cool, and I genuinely asked this kid, David, I was like, hey, do you by any chance have a YouTube channel where you play Spyro the Dragon? And like he said, David denied it, but I'm pretty sure that was David, in my class, specifically. And then I kept searching and I found this guy called Red Devil Dazzy 2007, one of the greatest artists of this generation. Once again, dragons, what they're meant to say. Search it up. Watch the entire series, and I want you to come back. If anyone actually has searched this up, I want you to come back afterwards. And I want you to tell me exactly what you thought of what dragons are meant to say, because it is one of the most iconic series I've ever seen on YouTube. I discovered Dazzy. I thought it was amazing. You know, this guy can record the entire game. You know, like I'm watching it. I'm watching him play a game. I'm watching him as you're watching me. You know, this is a commodity. This was a gem. This is gold. You didn't see shit like this on YouTube back in the day. I cannot stress this enough. Like, we're spoiled. We're spoiled because we've got it in front of us. And we can do this. Like, I can make the most shitty recording of Spyro and you can watch it. Because anyone can do it now. But back then it was phenomenal that anyone could even contemplate of recording Spyro the Dragon. Happy birthday, Spyro. So you have to understand that when I found Dazzy, this was like fucking gold. But alas, you know, actually back to childhood story mode. So we're not gonna kill him, but we're gonna. As a kid, I used to. I think if you charge them, so they do this. So they technically die, but not entirely. And I used to, as a pacifist kid, I used to do this to them. I thought it was really cool how I could rescue this guy. But if you go up to him, bonk. And he'll just keep bonking you. But I used to try and keep all those balls alive, because I felt bad for him. They're good lads. Good lads. But anyway, back to the story, Red Devil Dazzy. You know, I thought it was, like... I think at this point, if you haven't watched What Dragons Are Meant to Say, then you're not going to watch it. And at that point, I have to say, I'm not gonna spoil it. I don't want to spoil anything. If you haven't watched it, go watch it now. I don't care. Just go watch it. I don't care if you're enjoying this. I want you to go watch What Dragons Are Meant to Say right now. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so at this point, you must be back from watching What Dragons Are Meant to Say. It's pretty shit. You have to admit. But you have to understand, like, when you have not seen anyone use a capture card before, What Dragons Are Meant to Say, and all the kind of stuff that Red Devil Dazzy created back then, was amazing. We're not gonna kill that thief yet, because I got more childhood stories. So, like, I got sucked into the Dazzy hole, because it was, like, the best content you could get on YouTube back then. Actually, I'm gonna kill the thief. Fuck. I should have killed him before. I was gonna tell a childhood story. These motherfuckers. Yeah, because the thing is, like, I didn't know what they were called. There were no enemy lists. You couldn't Google what an enemy was named back then. You only found out through guidebooks and whatnot. And I used to call these guys, not thieves, but I used to call them the genies, or the na-na-na-na guys. And god, did they torment me as a kid, because, you know, like, when I play the game now, which I haven't been doing in this Let's Play, really, but when I play the game now, I charge around like this. I whoosh, like that, you know. But back when I played the game, I would just walk around like I am now, and have been. So, you know, I didn't know how to get these guys. I didn't know how to charge to get them, and even if I did charge to get them, I was too slow to get them. And so these guys were the tormentors of my childhood. You know, they weren't just saying na-na-na to nobody, they were saying it directly to me as if I was there in the room with them. So, you know, bad time. But yes, so back to the Dazzy story. Discovered this guy called Dazzy. I got sucked in for a few years. And through Dazzy, this is another pinnacle of technology that once again blew my mind back in the day, but there's a website called Ustream. It was like Twitch TV back then. It was like where you could stream on your webcam. It was like the first time I'd heard of it, but there's another YouTuber named CrashPro3 who kind of dominated the Crash Bandicoot scene of YouTube at the time. And he was doing a stream. Like, I think it was like 70 hours of playing all the Crash Bandicoot games non-stop with his friends. It was to raise money for some kind of charity. And this is the first time I've heard of a live stream ever. And, like, I thought that was, like, the most amazing thing ever, that not only could you watch this show on YouTube, this is 2009, by the way, so an entire year after I discovered Dazzy. But 2009, I was like, it blew my mind. You could watch this guy, you could watch this motherfucker play, like, Crash Bandicoot live as he's playing. That was, like, the coolest thing I'd ever heard of at this point. It was like a big charity stream, 70 hours, playing it with his friends, every Crash Bandicoot game that has ever been released up until that point. You know, and it was a really cool stream. And through that stream, I met this guy called Ratchet5. And that's when the trouble began. I met this guy called Ratchet5. He probably doesn't remember, but I remember this very clearly. But I chatted to him about like this teacher I had at primary school at the time named Mr. Dennis, who was an absolute wanker. Like he was the kind of teacher. He was the kind of teacher who obviously had a failed art career, and was stuck teaching primary school kids and had massive anger issues. And he was the kind of teacher who had like rumors to have like he was kicked out of his old school because he threw a chair at a kid. That was like the fuck. Anyway, there was a rumor that he threw a chair at a kid or something. That's why he was at our backwater school. He was like that kind of guy. He was the kind of guy who, like, I remember at one point, because I am slight maths, because I literally have dyslexia in maths. Like, I have something called dyscalculia, which is why I had to count my fingers earlier. Dyscalculia, which is dyslexia in maths, had a diagnosis that year, and he knew about this. And I remember at one point, like, I was doing my maths, and he was like, he just asked me, like, where are you up to in your maths thing? And, like, I struggled at maths. I couldn't do my times tables. I couldn't do shit. I was, like, really bad at maths. But, like, no one supports you. Back then, the education system has a couple of issues there. And, like, they don't really take things like this very seriously. So, and no one knows what dyscalculia is. Every time I hear about it, like, every time I mention it to someone, like, everyone says it's either fake or they're like, oh, I must have dyscalculia too because I can't count to 4, you know. But it's like, you know, it's just being bad at maths. But, like my brain literally struggles to do maths. It's just it, you know. But like he knew I had dyscalculia, and he's like, oh, what are you up to in your math sums? And I'm like, he asked it in the most nicest way as well. So I felt comforted for a second. It's like, oh, I can tell him where I'm up to in my maths thing because he seems to want to comfort me. And so I'm up to like question 2, which I was like really behind. Like I should not have been up to question 2. I should have been up to like question 10 at this point. Oh, dickhead. And so out of nowhere, he yelled at me in front of the whole class. He was like, "Well, get to fucking work!" Like he's like really loud. Like it was like the scariest thing I've like ever. Like I can't stress enough. Like I can't do it on a microphone. But he like genuinely yelled in a way that literally all the people talking in the classroom and all the things going on in the classroom just froze. It was frozen for like a solid minute because everyone was too afraid to say anything because he yelled so loudly. You know, he was that kind of kid. Like he was the kind of teacher because he yelled at his kids out of nowhere, and like this is one of those things that he yelled at like us at me for whatever the hell he wanted to yell at me for. It was like really. Yeah. Anyway, I hated this guy because he yelled at me. He yelled at me a lot, and it was like for the most mundane reason. He yelled at his kids. I used to be like genuinely afraid of him. I had like pure anxiety going to school because it was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to deal with him yelling at me again. Anyway, I was talking to Ratchet 5 in the Crash Bros stream about like Mr. Dennis and whatnot. And he was like, Ratchet 5 was like, oh yeah, I have really shitty teachers, and I have really shitty teachers at my school too. And so I found out who Ratchet 5 was, and I knew I vibed with this guy. It was like, this guy is the vibe master. So I followed Sweet, and I subscribed to Ratchet 5, and it was really fun. So I discovered Ratchet 5, and through Ratchet 5 I discovered like a bunch of other people who would then go on to form the Spyro speedrunning community. And this is a long tangent which is taking like the entire Artisans world to get to. My friends, like, so I discovered all these people who are probably watching this now, or maybe not, didn't discover us through the same way. So I discovered Ratchet 5, and then I got into Let's Plays in around like 2010. I'd watch his videos, and they started this thing called Spyro speedrunning, which is, like I said, the concept of it's like normal speedrunning, but you verse another person at the same time. And that is how I met your mother, or how I found this nice community of people who are now watching my videos who aren't my friends in real life, who are also watching those videos. So I hope everyone, both ends of the spectrum, really enjoyed. Now we're actually going to be walking into the next homeworld now, because we've 100%ed everything. So I'll see you on the other side, and thank you for watching.